Now it's time to ask ourselves the real question. Would we have sacrificed ourselves like Jung would? Or would we have left like everyone else? Let's talk about it. All right, guys, Brent here back for Geek, where we cover all things Marvel, DC, Lord of the Rings, anime, gaming, and more. This time, solo leveling episode 2, and what a doozy it was. Basically, covering the Zealot's praise. Because, I mean, how else are you going to put this? There was a deity that literally needed you to revere him, praise him, and still be willing to have someone sacrifice to him just upon entering his domain or entering into his room. And luckily, the weakest member of the party, Jung, our main character, our solo leveler himself, is now the one who went from nobody to somebody because he was literally the only one that had any level of critical thinking whatsoever. It shows a beautiful dichotomy between the fact of someone with all the power doesn't really need to do a lot of thinking. Someone with no power has to do all of the thinking. And Sung now became our most important character, quickly solving this puzzle. And somehow, some way, no one else was able to focus on anything else going on. But let's be real here. If we're all being chased by giant murder statues, yeah, I'm pretty sure I would be somewhere between Ju-Hee, who is literally paralyzed through fear and just screaming bloody murder because that's all she's capable of doing. We literally lost our healer because yeah, she's having a really, really bad day. Or somewhere between the guy who literally, I want to go home and see my wife and family. We're expecting another one. And then you turn your back on the murder statues. Doesn't really seem like the most ideal thing to do, but at the same time, hey, you do you. Everything was half off. Couldn't resist the joke, but at the same time, now we have him ultimately deciding to stay behind, sacrifice himself to save the others. And while he's going through his moment where he's literally being slaughtered, because look, they took his foot first, which was not part of the thing. Then they took his arm, and then he's basically being held up on a spear like a human shish kebab, and he's having all of these thoughts of he's not even screaming in pain. He's just like, you know, maybe this was a bad idea. Who was I fooling? Who am I kidding? Why did I think staying behind was such a noble thing? This kind of sucks. I had things to live for too. This is a very complicated situation for me. I wanted to live my life and live it to the fullest, but at the same time, I was like, well, I wanted our leader to get out of there, and I wanted the girl I care about to get out of there. Sorry, mom. Sorry to my sister, people he cared about back home. I had to sacrifice them regardless because this is just the situation that they were in. Everyone else had a panic attack and left. And honestly, the way the doors worked, that's terrifying. That is terrifying to anybody, especially if you come in here with a group of people you genuinely care about, because then you have to start making really tough business decisions. And you're going to find out which members of your friend group really like you at a rapid pace that I don't think is all that great. I feel like there's other ways of doing it, like maybe a trust fall. Let's not do murder dungeon because, dungeon, dangerous, death. You came in here for an easy mission. He got hurt during that portion, and then they put him in the S rank portion, and all of a sudden he's risen up and is just team carrying everybody just to ultimately end up on this altar with all of his blood overflowing, all of the writing, which I'm sure has some kind of hidden meaning, some kind of deep symbolism in it, something that is going to explain to us part of the reason why he's going to go from who he is now to who he could be in the future. And ultimately, I hope the character continues to grow because this series so far is great. The music's fantastic, the writing is good, the action's great. It's a little on the gory side, but at the same time, look, there's stuff like Chainsaw Man out there. There was episode 1 of Goblin Slayer, which I do not recommend for those with any type of squeamish stomach. But there are so many good animes out there that cover a little bit more blood than what we used to seeing here in the mainstream anime. I like what we're seeing. Everything's exciting. Next week, will be covering for that week and the week after, as I will be out of the area for a little while. Be sure to hit that lovely red subscribe button. Greatly helps out the channel. Leave likes, comments, dislikes, anything in the description below you guys want to talk about. Would you stay behind? Would you have ran through the door screaming like I probably would have? Because, hey, just going to be a little selfish on this one? Or would you have tried to figure out something else that ultimately ends in no one being able to get out of there? Because let's be honest, I'm not even sure the S ranks could have defeated this dungeon. Just going to put that there. See you guys in the next one.